I believe he's the greatest athlete on the planet right now.
Novak Djokovic.
Let me take you guys back to Wimbledon when Carlos Alcaraz defeated Novak in the epic 5-setter. Many fans thought that the torch had been passed. I mean, even Nike put up a tweet saying that the Alcaraz era was upon us. And although I love Alcaraz and have even put up a few videos about him, I was eager to see how Djokovic would react to all of the buzz around the Spaniard, and he must have taken that personally because not only has he won all of the tournaments he has played with an 18-0 record since then, he has had 7 top 10 wins and beaten some of the most in-form players. At this point, it just looks like Djokovic just passed the torch to a better version of himself rather than Alcaraz, because what the heck? I already did recaps on his Cincinnati and US Open wins, but I have to say that Novak's win in Paris-Bercy is one of the most impressive I've seen, and I'll tell you why. You guys won't get to see me on screen for the next couple of videos because I'm currently in Austin, Texas right now doing media at a couple of Drop Shot Series ITF tournaments, but anyways, let's get back to the video. Djokovic entered into the tournament as the top seed and faced Tomás Martín Echeverry in his first match after receiving a bye in the first round. It was his first singles match since mid-September when he played for Serbia in the group stage for the Davis Cup, so we kind of expected him to take some time to find his rhythm, but once he got going, it was a pretty straightforward affair. At 3-3, Djokovic won 5 straight games to take the opening set 6-3 and raced to a 2-love lead in the second set before wrapping the second set up at 6-2. The match lasted only 83 minutes. Nole committed only 9 unforced errors in the match, which was pretty impressive considering that he was a little rusty. Djokovic faced Talon Griekspoor in the next round, and the first thing I noticed was that Novak's service game was far from his best. 7 double faults and a relatively low percentage of first serves in. Novak really had to dig deep in this one. After getting an early break and racing to a 4-1 lead, Djokovic's game collapsed and Griekspoor took full advantage of it, pouncing on short balls and unleashing winners. So Griekspoor ended up winning 5 consecutive games to steal the first set 6-4. Unbeknownst to us, Djokovic was having some health issues, so he needed painkillers after the opening set. The second set wasn't any better, but Djokovic managed to fend off 3 break points and drag the set into a tiebreak before leveling things up. The third set was much better, but still not up to the Djokovic standard, but he survived 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 in a match that lasted just over 2.5 hours. Okay, at this point, we all knew Djokovic needed better form and fitness if he was to win against his next opponent in Holger Rune, because this performance just wasn't going to cut it. Djokovic faced Holger Rune looking to avenge his final loss last year and also level up in their head-to-head. I thought the match was of a much higher quality. Djokovic took the first set 7-5 and had a match point at 5-4 in the second. Rune saved it before Novak went on to play arguably his worst tiebreak this year. This allowed Rune to draw level, but after getting an early break in the third set, Novak went into lockdown mode, losing only 3 points on his serve and committing only 1 unforced error for the rest of the match. 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 your final there. The match lasted 6 minutes shy of the 3-hour mark, and you could tell that it had taken a lot from both players. Novak marched on to the semis where he faced an in-form Andrei Rublev, and he needed to play a lot better to overcome the world number 5, but it took him some time to get going. Unusual mistakes from the baseline coupled with Rublev's big forehand and exceptional shot making saw Djokovic lose the first set 5-7. Both players couldn't break each other despite facing a couple of break points in the second set, so it went into a tiebreak with Nole raising his level to take it to a decider. Novak then needed a physio for some treatment on his back. Novak then improved his service game and held firm in the decider, while Rublev finally cracked in the 12th game with a double fault to lose the match after 3 hours 5-7, 7-6, 7-5. Djokovic said it was the best he had seen Rublev play and also said this.
Rublev was suffocating me like a snake suffocates frog. You know, for most of the match, he was playing on an extremely high level. And I mean, I knew that, you know, he possesses a great quality, but, you know, today he played off the charts, honestly. I don't think I've ever faced Rublev this good.
Well, Novak was through to his 58th Masters 1000 final, where he would face Grigor Dimitrov. Well, our newsletter already covers some of the most interesting topics on and off the court. It's the place you want to be for hot takes, event recaps, highlights, ranking updates, and lots more. so make sure to subscribe by clicking the link down below. Both men had come through tough draws heading into the final. Dimitrov was on a roll with impressive victories against Tsitsipas, Hubert Hurkacz, Daniil Medvedev, and Lorenzo Musetti, but the final was a little underwhelming, or should I say I expected a little more fight from Dimitrov, although I'm well aware that he had been playing with a heavily strapped leg since the quarterfinal. I thought that Dimitrov's forehand, as good as it has been in recent months, needed to be a little better if he was to push Djokovic to the limit. Dimitrov's strategy was to target the Djokovic forehand with 67% of his serves out wide on the deuce. He also used extremely low slices to force Djokovic to generate power, which isn't really something Novak enjoys doing. You really don't want to be trading topspin backhands against someone who arguably has the best backhand in the sport. But where Dimitrov went wrong was making way too many errors on his forehand wing. Even his takeback on the forehand wasn't great either, while Djokovic, on the other hand, didn't even make a single error on the forehand until towards the end of the first set, like we can see here. Slicing short was supposed to help open up more chances for Dimitrov on the forehand. It was meant to be his higher percentage shot, but it didn't quite go as planned. Now, let's talk about Djokovic's strategy. Physically and technically, he wasn't at his best, but he didn't need to be. Apart from effectively neutralizing Dimitrov's slices, Djokovic added a lot of depth on shots to Dimitrov's backhand, pinning him there, and Dimitrov struggled with it the entire match. Djokovic relied heavily on his backhand to control the flow of points from the back of the court, and he hit a staggering 73% of his backhands cross-court, just to wear down Dimitrov's backhand. Dimitrov made 19 unforced errors in the first set and couldn't return almost 45% of Novak's serves. You get the feeling that Dimitrov's knowledge of his head-to-head record against Djokovic, which was 1-11 at the time, might have gotten in the way and prevented him from playing better. The first set ended 6-4 for Nole, and Dimitrov knew he had to go for broke in the second set. He loosened up a little bit, but a 44% first serve percentage and perhaps not slicing as often meant that Dimitrov couldn't do much damage. At the end of the day, it was Novak who would convert 3 of the 4 break chances he had without facing any break point. 6-4, 6-3 the final score. I think we can all agree that Djokovic didn't need to overplay to win the match. He really didn't need to rush to the net, he only did that 5 times, or try to shorten points. He didn't even need to run around his forehand too many times. I'll even add that he didn't even need to leave second gear. It was Dimitrov's 10th straight loss to Djokovic, and the wait for a first ATP title since 2017 continues. But for Djokovic, here's what his title win in Paris means. Let's start with the numbers. 18-0 since Wimbledon, 50 match wins at the Paris Masters, and a record-extending 7th Paris Masters trophy. 6 ATP titles this season, joint highest with Carlitos. 97 ATP titles. In fact, I saw a stat revealing that Novak has more ATP titles than the rest of the players in Turin combined. Now that's ridiculous. 40 Masters 1000 titles. The rest of the top 50 have won only 41, and of course we have Andy Murray, who won 14 of those. 70 big titles, increasing the gap between him and the rest of the big 3. For a long time, Djokovic was chasing records. These days, he's just about breaking his own records. That's how scary the man is. But here are 2 reasons why I find his win in Paris special. Now, we all know of Novak's ability to survive in the worst conditions out there, but he took it to the next level in Paris. He felt terrible and had reduced energy levels for days due to a stomach bug, but he didn't use it as an excuse. On top of that, 3 of his matches went the distance and over 2.5 hours for 3 consecutive days. And when you remember that he also won the Australian Open earlier this year with a torn hamstring, it just makes you wonder what can stop this man. The level on the ATP Tour is unbelievable, and really anyone can upset a top seed. We've seen that many times. Just the other day, Roman Safiullin upset Carlitos, but the thing with Novak is how he manages to win when he isn't at his best technically now. Not even physically, like we mentioned in the first point. You could have more winners, aces, serve better, return better, play way better, and still not beat Djokovic. His matches against Griekspoor and Rublev point to that fact. I've talked many times about Djokovic's qualities, and what makes him the best in history but his ability, I think, is right up there as one of the best he has, and before I forget, he did all of that against a really annoying crowd in Paris. What do you think about the crowd there? Because I don't think they're very respectful. All those taunts and boos were totally unnecessary. Anyway, what's next for Nole? Next up for Djokovic will be the season-ending ATP Tour Finals in Turin, where he'll be the heavy favorite to lift a record-breaking 7th title. Djokovic has been dominant on hard courts all season, winning 33 matches and losing only once, which I think was against Daniil Medvedev in Dubai. So he's the clear favorite for the title, but we can expect him to be pushed to his limits again, because Holger Rune seems to be out of his slump, Andrei Rublev is in the form of his life, Tsitsipas has been playing better recently, Alexander Zverev is a 2-time champion and isn't playing badly, Medvedev is a hard court specialist and former champion, even though he lost all his matches there last year. Alcaraz is in the mix as well because of his obvious quality, and we have Jannik Sinner, who I honestly think is the most improved player in 2023. Djokovic will finish the year at world number 1 for a record-extending 8th time. Well, except he loses all his matches and Alcaraz wins all his matches, which sounds ridiculous. That being said, he is going to hit the 400 mark for weeks at the top. After that, we can look forward to the number 25 jacket at the Australian Open, right? 2023 has been a year of redemption for Djokovic. He got his revenge against literally everyone, and now he's just all about racking up the big titles like they're infinity stones. The ATP Finals will be the icing on the cake, but let's move over to the WTA for a moment and talk about one of the hottest topics on Naomi Osaka.